Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Wooden Railway Adventures, Episode 123, The Kipper Caper. Trade between Sodor and the mainland had increased in the recent months, and every day trainloads of new goods were arriving from the mainland. One day, Murdoch and Henry were at the docks. They were talking about this. "Goodness me," said Murdoch. "Look at that huge train, Henry. I've never seen anything quite like it." "Neither have I," said Henry. "It must be very heavy." "I know," said Murdoch. I wonder who Sir Topham Hatt will choose to pull it." "I don't know," said Henry. "I hope Sir Topham Hatt will choose me. I haven't pulled a long train in a long time, and I need to stretch my wheels." Who am I going to choose?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. "Oh, hi, sir," said Murdoch. "Who's going to pull this train over here?" "Oh," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I was thinking about it this morning, and, well, Murdoch, you're going to pull it." Henry was quite devastated. "But, sir," he said. "Don't worry," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Henry, if you do good on your jobs in the next few days, I'll let you pull one of these trains." "Thank you, sir," said Henry. "That would be wonderful, sir." "Sir," asked Murdoch, "what's exactly in this train?" "Oh," said Sir Topham Hatt, "mostly fish, but there are a couple other things in there as well." "Mostly fish," said Henry. "Sir, does that mean—" "Yes, Henry," said Sir Topham Hatt, "the Flying Kipper is back." Henry was shocked. "But, sir," he said, "I've always wanted to pull the Flying Kipper. Ever since my accident, Gordon and James have never stopped teasing me. I need to redeem myself." "Don't worry," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You will." "All righty," said Henry. "I guessed. Well, Murdoch, good luck tonight." "Thank you," said Murdoch. "I guess I'll have to go get a good night's rest." "Thank you, sir." "No problem, Murdoch." And Murdoch puffed away to go to a shed. "Now go back to work, Henry," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Yes, sir," said Henry, and Sir Topham Hatt walked away. Henry shunted at the docks for the rest of the day, but by the end of the day he was very tired. "Oh, bother," said Henry. "I don't feel like going back to the sheds tonight. Driver, is that all right with you?" "Certainly," said his driver. "Just pull into the siding over here." "All right," said Henry. "Where are you going to sleep?" "The fireman and I will stay at the signalman's house." "All right." "Okay," said Henry. "Just come get me in the morning." "Will do," said the driver and fireman, and they walked away. Henry was soon sleeping peacefully, but just then he heard a whistle. "Oh, bother," said Henry. "It's Murdoch. He's coming to pull the train." "Hello, Henry," he said. "Isn't it a lovely day?" "I suppose so," said Henry. He puffed up to greet Murdoch. But suddenly there was trouble. As Murdoch was coming around the bend, he lopsided and fell over. "Cinders and ashes!" cried Henry. "What happened?" "I don't know," said Murdoch. "I just tipped over." The driver and fireman climbed out, but they were unhurt. "Whew," said the driver. "Murdoch, you weren't going fast at all." "No, he wasn't," said Henry. "He was barely going fast." "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," said Murdoch, "but we need to get a crane in here soon, otherwise I won't be able to pull the train." "There's no time for that," said his driver. "It looks like Henry will have to take the train." "Yay!" said Henry. He whistled very loudly. His driver and fireman came out and soon heard what was going on. "Hooray!" they said. "We're going to get to pull the Flying Kipper." Henry was soon coupled up to the train, and Murdoch was moved out of the way. "A crane's on its way," said Murdoch's driver. "Oh, good," said Murdoch. "I don't want to sit here all night." "Neither do I." "Look out, here comes Henry," and Henry was off. "Peep, peep," he said. "The Kipper is away!" And Henry pulled slowly out of the docks. The train was heavy, but he soon got it going. "We're off," he cried. "We're off!" And Henry was away. He wheeshed down the line as fast as he could, but he was also very quiet. He rumbled by the sheds, but he went by so quickly that the engines didn't see who was pulling it. "Who was that?" asked Neville. "I have no idea," said Percy, "but he was definitely fast. Possibly even green," said Rosie. "Was it Henry?" "Nah," said Neville. "Henry's not quiet." But Neville didn't know a thing about Henry, obviously. Henry rushed down the line as fast as he could. "Oh," said Henry, "this brings back the old days." But soon there was trouble. As Henry rocketed down the line, he saw a man standing by a signal box. "Oh, bother," said Henry. "What's this?" "Slow down, Henry," called his driver. Henry slowed down and stopped by the man. "Hello," said Henry. He assumed the man was a signalman. "Hello," said the man. "What are you doing here?" "I'm Henry," he said. "I'm pulling the Flying Kipper." "Oh," said the man. Good for you. Which way should we go?" said Henry. "What do you mean?" "Well, you're the signalman, and you obviously don't have a signal here. I'm just wondering which way I should go." "Oh," said the man. "You should go, that way. Right there. Sound good?" "All right," said Henry. "You know best." Henry was off. What he secretly didn't know was that the man wasn't a signalman after all. He was just a regular guy playing a trick on Henry and his driver. As Henry went down the line, his lamp suddenly went out. "Bother," said Henry. "I can't see." "Oh, look, there's a tunnel. Driver, turn it back on." But it was too late. As Henry went through the tunnel, he crashed into a train, and contents went everywhere. "Cinders and ashes," cried Henry. "I can't see a thing." It was too dark outside, and the driver went for help. When he arrived the next morning, Henry could finally see where he was. He was in the yard, and he had crashed into the Sodor Cookie Factory cargo cart. "Cinders and ashes," cried Henry. "This is terrible. What am I doing in the yard? This isn't right at all." "No, it's not," said Henry's driver. "Oh, dear," said Henry. "I've been a very silly engine. What will Sir Topham Hatt think of me now?" Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Henry," he said, "I'm not very impressed with you." "But, sir," said Henry, "it wasn't my fault." "What do you mean?" asked Sir Topham Hatt. "We were going down the line, and we ran into this strange man. He told us to go this way, and it was too dark for me to see that this was the yard." "Uh-huh," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I see. Well, where was the signal box?" "Back up the track, sir." "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I'll go check." And he walked away. Well, when Sir Topham Hatt arrived, he was very shocked. "Huh," he said. "This isn't a signal box. It's the control tower for the airport. Henry must be mistaken." But when Sir Topham Hatt arrived back, he realized that Henry was telling the truth. "That's the one," said Henry. "Well, that's the control tower for the airport," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You've obviously missed something." "No, I haven't, sir," said Henry. "It's true." "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Henry, you've been a very silly engine, but I'm glad that you're okay. Please, when the breakdown train comes, go back to your work." "Oh, look, Boko's just arrived with it now." "Please go back to work, Henry." "Yes, sir," said Henry, but he was quite sad. Henry was moved onto another track. "Oh dear," he said, "I feel quite silly." Just then his driver arrived. "Henry," he said, "are you ready to go back to work?" "No," said Henry. I'm feeling quite depressed." "Well, why are you depressed?" he asked. "Because that man was quite mean, and he made me crash into the train back there." "I understand," said his driver, "but we have work to do, Henry. Come on, let's go." But Henry didn't want to go. "I'm going to go find that man." "Find what man?" said his driver. "The man by the signal box last night." "You mean the control tower?" "Yes," said Henry crossly. "That man. I'm going to find him and tell him exactly what I think of him." "All right," said the driver. "You do that." "I will," said Henry, "with pleasure." And with that, he turned onto the turntable and puffed away. Henry looked all over the island. He searched Gordon's Hill, and even wound up by the docks by the end of the day. It was sunset, and Henry was tired. "Oh," said Henry. He switched onto a different line to get out of the way. "I've looked everywhere, and I haven't been able to find that strange man. Oh, dear, I don't know if I'll ever find him." "Hey, who's that?" He heard a whistle down the track. It was Gordon. He came in. "Hello, Henry," he said. "Heard about your little adventure last night." Henry was cross. "Don't get me started, Gordon," he said crossly. "Huh, it's about time that somebody would learn to pull the Flying Kipper and not crash." "Hey," said Henry, "you crashed while pulling it too, you know." "I know," said Gordon. It's just fun to make fun of you because of it. Hee hee hee." And he rushed away. "You come back here, Gordon," he said. "Oh, this is ridiculous. I'll never find the man. Oh, I just sound as crazy as Bulstrode and that fisherman." Just then, Henry realized something. "Hey," he said, "that's actually pretty weird." Ironically, Bulstrode just pulled in. The engines had not liked Bulstrode, as he had helped Diesel 10 take over the railway. "Bulstrode," said Henry, "do you remember that secret agent you ran into a while back?" "Don't remind me of it," said Bulstrode crossly. "You're just going to tease me." "I'm not," said Henry. I'm genuinely curious." "I see," said Bulstrode. "Well, what do you want to know?" "What was he wearing that night?" If I remember correctly, the fisherman was wearing a brown hat, brown trousers, brown jacket, brown shoes, and possibly even a brown tie." "Cinders and ashes," cried Henry. "I've seen this man." "I highly doubt it," said Bulstrode. "He disappeared from the hospital one night. You'll never be able to find him." "Oh, yes, I will," said Henry. "I've seen him before, and I'll find him again." Bulstrode laughed. "Oh, well," he said. "Good luck with that." And he was off. But Henry began to think about it. "Oh, dear," he said. "Bulstrode's probably right. I'll never find that man. He's probably run away by now. I've been a very silly engine driver. What should I do?" "Just forget about it," said his driver. "You know Bulstrode made that story up anyway." "You're right," said Henry. "I guess better go back to the shed. It'll be nice to get a night's rest there." And with that, Henry puffed away. He still had conflicting ideas. He didn't know if the man was actually Bulstrode's friend, or whether it was just some strange man on the side of the line. But with that, Henry puffed away, leaving his thoughts behind.